Sources of energy. What is this energy? Energy is used in our day-to-day life. We cannot think of a life without energy. This energy is used from small appliances to heavy appliances. These are used from small firms to heavy firms in order to drive the appliances at home, in order to drive the appliances in our industries, in our big firm and so on. So without energy, we cannot think of anything. This world is running on the energy, on various forms of energy. Now, if we are talking about energy, then these energy are of various types, like light energy, electrical energy, heat energy, chemical energy, thermal energy, etc. There are various types of energy. These energies are used in various applications also, in transportation, in order to run the turbines, in order to run heavy industries and etc. So in this chapter, we are going to study what are these different types of energy and what are the sources of energy. There are various sources of energy. In order for us to understand it better, we have classified these sources of energy into two types. The first sources of energy are the non-renewable sources of energy, and the second source of energy is the renewable source of energy. So let's discuss one by one what is this non-renewable and renewable sources of energy. So first start with the non-renewable source of energy. In this non-renewable source of energy, as the name suggests, non-renewable. That is the form of energy which cannot be renewed. What do you mean by renewed? This renewal word means that once these type of energy gets exhausted, then it cannot be converted back. So once we consume or once we have finished these type of energy consumption, then they cannot be renewed in our lifespan. Why? Because these non-renewable sources of energy take thousands and millions of years to produce. I am talking about the energy sources like fossil fuels and nuclear fuels. In fossil fuels, we have coal, petroleum, natural gas, and in nuclear fuels, we have uranium. So, these fossil fuels like coal, petroleum takes thousands and millions of years to produce. And these are not produced artificially, but this is a natural process. So, once they get exhausted, so we cannot help it out in order to renew it back. These sources of energy are produced naturally and is dug out deep from the earth. There are various methods and various appliances that helps in digging out these energy from the earth. Now let's talk about the renewable sources of energy. In the renewable sources of energy, as the name suggests, renewable means which can be renewed. So we can also say the renewable source of energy as the infinite source of energy. That means this energy is in abundance and once it gets exhausted, then it can be easily renewed. Or we can say that the amount of consumption is large, but the amount of renewal is also very fast. So in this case, the renewable source of energy which we are talking about sets various examples. Like wood, the solar energy, the hydro energy. Hydro energy is the energy from water. The tidal energy, the energy from tides. The geothermal energy, the energy which is produced from deep surface of the earth. Or we can say the heat which is produced from deep surface of the earth. So these are the various forms of energy which can be renewed once they are exhausted. So these sources of energy helps us in classifying various forms of energy. We have further divided the sources of energy into two types. The conventional source of energy and the non-conventional source. The conventional source of energy is also called exhaustible source of energy. And the non-conventional source of energy is also called the alternate source of energy. So let's first start with the conventional source of energy. In the conventional source of energy, the sources of these particular energy forms are limited in quantity. That is, once they are exhausted, they cannot be recovered. That's why these conventional sources of energy comes into the category of the non-renewable sources of energy. So the example for these conventional sources of energies are the coal, the petroleum, the natural gas, oil, etc. But there is another conventional source of energy like wood. Nowadays, wood is also considered in the conventional source of energy. Why? Because the Deforestation Act is increasing in abundance, and due to this deforestation, the wood is also in problem. That means we can consider the wood or the trees in conventional source of energy. That means they are still in limited quantity. So, we have classified the wood also in conventional source of energy due to the threat of the deforestation. But this conventional source of energy comes under the renewable source of energy. Why? Because the wood can be easily recovered by planting trees. Now let's discuss about the non-conventional source of energy. It is just the opposite of what we have discussed. That is, it is present on the earth in infinite quantity. For example, I am talking about the hydro energy, the solar energy, the wind energy, the geothermal energy, etc. So these are the various forms of energy. Now let's see what are the characteristics of a good form of energy. These sources of energy should be easy to handle and they could be easily transported. That means they should be safe enough to be transported from one place to the another. The second important point is that they should be cheap and easily available. That means they should be in such abundance that they can be easily available anywhere. The third important point is that they should not produce too much smoke or harmful gases. Apart from that, we should also consider the main advantage that they should produce large amount of heat energy in one unit mass. That means if we burn one mass of energy, then large amount of heat is produced in it. So these are the various characteristics that makes a good source of energy.